Hi, this is YouTube librarian, like J.M. Scott. I'm working with PlayStation 4 and a game called The Sims 4, I think. And I have three books here from the library. The 100% Unofficial Fortnite Essential Guide. When is it published? It's a little bit out of date. 2019. I have the Hogwarts Legacy official game guide, which I bought from Scholastica. It has a 2000 probably 23 copyright. And I'll be reading from it. I got the Canadian price instead of the American price for some reason. And then game design. And I'll be reading from all three of these books at this time while operating the Sims, which could be pretty simple because I have probably a very limited range of motion with this character. I'm on Twitch right now. If you want to watch me read from these three books as a kind of children's storytime experience. I graduated from Dominican University's Master of Library and Information Science degree program. The first course I took was Introduction to Library and Information Science. There are four types of libraries: public, academic, school, and special libraries. For my second course, I took reference and online services. That's why you can expect someone to respond to your questions in person, by email, and then by telephone. I also took Organization of Knowledge with Gertrude Crow. I call those leading out courses. It's the reason why your book has a sticker that says LMGV 1469.35.5 F67054 2019, which means that it's located in a specific place on a shelf, but it's also in a specific location in the book catalog. For my fourth and fifth courses, I took school libraries and library materials for young adults. There was a little bit of a glip with library materials for young adults because I decided to do my book report on a Rainbow Party, which featured an oral sex party, and I kind of got knocked out a little bit, disturbed by that. School libraries was taught by a middle-aged white guy who looked very atypical. Management, Introduction to Library Information Science was taught by a normal-looking white guy. Gertrude Crow is Asian. I don't remember who my reference now, my services teacher. Janice Del Negro isn't in fact black. She's a white woman who specializes in children's literature. And I didn't have a chance to meet her. She was my academic advisor. I peeked into her class, and I wasn't ready to work with elementary school kids at the time. But I did go ahead and take three school certification courses at NEIU because I was considering becoming school media certified. The three courses were taught using transparencies. You know, that's when they project light through text on a plastic piece of paper, and it gets projected onto a screen. That's what I remember, and I probably didn't learn anything else, to be honest with you. And then I decided to do some skill development, collection development, and management, early books and manuscripts. What's important about collection development and management is that when you're developing a collection, you can refer to a collection development policy sheet and for any inclusive or exclusive language. And what's important about early books and manuscripts is that you really could benefit from a display case for something like an autographed book or an expensive book, or an old book, or paperwork. That's important. And then I also took, I decided to switch over to soft skill development. I took Internet Fundamental Designs with a library celebrity kind of guy, Michael Steffens, who was he had an article in Library Journal. Why did he choose an HTML book? I don't know, to work with. And then I took communication for leadership, taught by some corporate types. What's important about that is that there were 24 opportunities to speak in front of a group of 27-year-olds while I was studying. And so there was it's a different kind of liberal arts experience. My books at Shimer were intellectual, my books at high school were knowledgeable, my books in graduate school were probably well organized, were structurally sound is the best you can say about it. It's just a different kind of knowledge experience versus encyclopedic knowledge versus intellectual knowledge versus rational, organized knowledge. In terms of public speaking, there was a shift in high school from listening to participating in group discussions at Shimer to speaking in front of a classroom at graduate school. And in terms of writing, the difference is from a 5-paragraph essay, 1 page, to 5-page essays, to 10-page essays in graduate school. So from a 1 page in high school to 5 pages in college to 10 pages at graduate school. And a different kind of reading experience from knowledgeable to intellectual to rational and organized. Different kind of public speaking experience from listening in high school to participating in discussion groups in college to making presentations in front of a group of people twice in graduate school. So these are the kind of things. What I thought was especially good about Dominican University was that the classes were held in the library on the 3rd floor. You entered into the library, you walked up through the library, and you sat down in the library for your courses. And the class was a modern classroom. But that meant that 12 classes, 14 classes per semester, 5 or 6 semesters in my case, I had to do a 90-minute commute to go to the library and sit in the library for 2.5. It's almost like a penitence what it would take to do that. And so that amount of effort to get to drive to River Forest, to park the car, to walk into the library building, to sit down for 2.5 hours, that could be what was important about Dominican. The amount of effort it took, this 70-minute commute or 50-minute commute, the 2.5 hours sitting there over and over and over again, the practice of going to the library could be what distinguishes the Dominican University's program, because the classes are in the library. And then it is a beautiful school. I didn't really get the undergraduate experience with the dining hall, for example. I really got my kind of niche little experience. I did the same thing at Shimer. I did the weekend program, but I did it with a friend from high school, Jeff Nichols. Okay, and then for my final semester, I decided to sum it up. I took management of library information centers. I decided that librarians are providing supervisory services and administrative services while they're sitting there at the library. They're providing some management services. And I took planning and equipping libraries. To be honest with you, when I went to the American Library Association conference, I found these, those kiosks for movies at some grocery stores. I found a library kiosk. One is from the Chicagoland area, clocking in from 40,000 to 200,000. I had a chance to do participatory budgeting with the 49th Ward of the City of Chicago, and I proposed that they could put a $200,000 kiosk in front of the old women's club And in fact, you could see that it would have accommodated that $200,000 and thereby restore the women's club, which is now a cuckoo theater instead. The reason why that would work, the reason why that would work is because you they didn't like it because we would have to maintain it. Only if the Chicago Public Library maintained it would that work. They're willing to do a capital investment, but they're not willing to do something that requires daily maintenance. So that didn't work out, but I got to propose it, get quotes for it. What does that mean? From a planning and equipping libraries, you might want to go to the conference. And then I find reference sources in the humanities, and I am so proud to say that I checked out Videohound, a golden movie retriever from the library, Independence Branch. A perfect example of reference sources in the humanities. So I'm going to be reading from 100%. There probably is a book on SIM, to be honest with you. Why don't we read about SIM? Because we're in SIM. Let's read about it on Wikipedia before I read these 3 books. So the first thing I learned about The Sims 4 video game is that it has a 2014 date. The Sims 4 is a social simulation game. Hold on a second, I'm not sure if my mic is on. The Sims 4 is a social simulation game developed by